Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a U.S. News update. Today's date, May 7, 2024, time about 1 p.m. in Texas. This is U.S. episode 168. Some of the things we'll be covering are X-flares, deadly tornadoes, bird flu, FANI, and New York court versus President Trump hires a Democratic political party consultant. How's that working? Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot Subscriber, Pastor Paul Begley, and Mike from Around the World, Cliff High, Best and Taylor, BreitBART, Daily Mail, Hal Turner, Sherry Ray, Plus. So let's get started. I'm going to begin with some information from my Patriot subscribers. And I'd like to say thank you for your support to Kim C., Dwight P., thanks for the support and gift, Margaret J., Becky D. And I'd like to say I've been contacted by several people that they're being contacted by me via Telegram. I am not on Telegram. I'm on YouTube, and I have a Rumble channel, and I have that listed in my description. And so let's get started. Okay, I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the unusual triangle-shaped ship that was reported over Florida, with sources saying, yeah, the U.S. Air Force doesn't know what this is. And I brought out information. It was produced by either Lockheed or Northrop Grumman. And I have a Patriot subscriber who says, we've been seeing the TR-3s. And I had another subscriber saying they're about in the 7th generation now. Something like this, TR-3. And I know 7th gen is now in the air. And my Patriot subscriber says, we've been seeing these over Elgin Air Force Base in Florida since 1989. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the Constitution making anti-Semitism, that's referring to the recent information I put out that Congress is trying to pass a bill making anti-Semitism illegal, which is a form of speech. And my Patriot subscriber and other sources are saying on its face, this bill is unconstitutional because it's trying to control speech. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about members in the House of Representatives, U.S. federal government level, waving the Ukraine flag, yeah, when they pass that big bill, because they know they're getting a lot of that money into their campaign contributions, into their own deep, sticky, greedy pockets. Waving a Ukraine flag. In the House of Representatives, my Patriot subscriber says that's disgusting. Yeah, a lot of people have felt the same way and used stronger words. And it's unacceptable that some people serve in our Congress who are dual citizens, especially with Israel, while they're passing money to go to Israel. Absolutely. And when will America stand up against this insurrection, which is Congress waving the flag of another nation? Yeah, I agree. It was unconstitutional, un-American. Yeah. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about ETs. I live 5 minutes from Camp Attenbury in Indiana. And 1 week ago, there were 2 helicopters that were cigar-shaped craft. And that there were, 2 weeks ago in Indiana, there were 2 helicopters guiding in a cigar-shaped ET-like craft. And that happened in Camp Attenbury 1 week ago in Indiana. Yep. And my Patriot subscribers saw that. We know we can believe what we see with our lying eyes, hear with our lying ears, what we actually see and hear. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about hail, talking about baseball-sized hail destroys solar panels on your roof. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about law. People should vote on passing laws. I agree. I believe in the future we should have a new system for passing laws in the United States of America. We do have one that's codified in our Constitution for passing laws by Congress. I agree. There does need to be some method now where people could vote on whether a law should be passed in the United States. And an easy technique would be for people to instantly vote on their smartphones. We could put that kind of system in place, and then we wouldn't require changing our Constitution. This would be something that Congress can take up as a way of obtaining feedback from the American citizens. It still wouldn't, and then they could vote on whether to pass the law. And have a Patriot subscriber talking about law. We don't need laws regulating speech, and that's the anti-Semitism bill. This reads like the novel 1984. Big Brother. And what is wrong with everyone? I agree. Patriot subscriber talking about law. Also mentioning the book 1984. And this is a 1984 was not a warning so much as it is a spoiler alert. I agree. Patriot subscriber. And this came from several of my Patriot subscribers, talking about Cinco de Mayo. I said it was to celebrate Mexican independence. Well, that happened, they celebrate that inside Mexico September 16th. Cinco de Mayo is really celebrated inside the U.S., and it was put forth really by marketing firms in the U.S. And it's but Mexicans celebrate, it's the Battle of Pueblo, Mexico versus France. And this is mostly a U.S. holiday, Mexican holiday, yeah. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the weather. In Oklahoma, it's very unpredictable and crazy. And a lot of sources are saying it's weather warfare. I believe it's a combination of things going on in space affecting the Earth, affecting our weather, juiced up by the deep state via weather warfare. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the sun, and my body feels the sun's changes and eruptions. Yes, a lot of people do. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about the world. I pray for the craziness and the bloodshed to end. Absolutely. Okay, now we're going to talk about what's going on in space. That also could be, so we've got the sun, and we've got the Earth. So we have things going on in space, on the sun, that's affecting the sun. Now, many people believe or call it a binary sun, a second sun, Planet X, Nibiru. We do have things going on in space heating up and causing weather changes in all the planets in our solar system. So what we're seeing on Earth, we're seeing in the past few days many X flares and now M flares. Now, Best and Taylor were bringing out that even if these don't generate CMEs, they do generate enhanced radiation reaching the Earth, and this occurs within 8 minutes after the X flare or the M flare, and so on. Even though the CME may take several days to impact the Earth, the radiation immediately leaves the sun and reaches the Earth, just like light, in 8 minutes. So we have, so space weather. Also, a CME also does not have to hit Earth to cause an aurora. We had, from these recent batch of X flares and M flares in the last couple of days, we had one CME barely graze the Earth, but it caused auroras that were seen in the Czech Republic in Europe. And we have, coming from sunspot AR3663, X flares on May 6 and X 4.5, generating massive radiation, impacting shortwave radio and regular radio waves in the Indian Ocean. Suspicious Observer today says we have more M flares, and that we had the X 4.5 on May 5, and it's going to generate a geomagnetic storm. We still have the swarm of earthquakes ongoing on Hawaii, and that's been going on for weeks now. We have also a new study coming out. What is the impact of the magnetic field on insects, including fruit flies and bees? And we have this. So now let's get into some of the weather that we're seeing. And as I said, many believe we're also, Best and Taylor were pointing out that Ed Dames, he was a remote viewer who saw a sun kill shot in the future. And one of his predictors before the sun puts out this massive strike on Earth was we would see a dramatic increase in the number of X flares. And we're seeing that. But we know also we can pray against that. But we are seeing dramatic weather occurring. Just last night we had a rare tornado warning, Torcon 9, for Oklahoma. And we had a strong tornado touchdown in Barnesdale, Oklahoma, on the border of Oklahoma and Kansas. So we have, from Hal Turner, rare tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. It's a high-risk, life-threatening tornado. And we have continued tornado warnings Tuesday, today, through Wednesday, for Oklahoma, for Kentucky, for Ohio. I may not be getting these. This is the section of the U.S. they're located. For Virginia, for North Carolina, South Carolina. So, and we currently today have in Montana a blizzard warning. So we're seeing unusual weather. Now we have this. On May 6th, we had 16 tornadoes occur in 6 states. We had them in Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Tennessee is down in this area, and South Dakota would be in this area. We had 4-inch hail, which is softball-sized hail, in Kansas. And that was part of the predictions that Mike from around the world is regularly on Pastor Paul Begley's Thursday night program. We know Mike works for the government and gave out warnings in the past year that we would see a dramatic increase in the intensity of all storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, and that we would see a softball and larger sized hail, stronger straight line winds in our thunderstorms and tornadoes. So that's going on. And now we have this from Newsweek on May 7. The report came out May 7, but it actually happened overnight. In Oklahoma, we had a mile-wide tornado that happened overnight, and it strongly hit Barnesdale, Oklahoma, with a population of 1,000, and it was the second strike by tornadoes in May for Oklahoma. They had 1 death in Barnesdale. They had a direct hit to a nursing home. And we also have 15 tornadoes touched down in the central U.S., 7 in Oklahoma. And the 15 tornadoes that set down last night: Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Iowa. And we had winds up to 70 miles per hour. And now we have continued thunderstorm squall line to continue all in this area Tuesday and Wednesday. And now we have this from Best and Taylor. Reports, and I think New York Prepper and Canadian Prepper are probably putting this out too. We're seeing reports, and Monkey Works, we're seeing many more reports of planes, military planes, up over the U.S. And the question is, what is our current DEFCON? And we have this. We have from Best and Taylor, and I agree with this. Stuart Best was previously a professional pilot for GE for decades. Larry Taylor was a retired police officer. But they both keep up with what's going on in the sun and the impact on Earth. And they brought out several months ago, and I did research for this also, that we are having, so here's the Earth, here's our geomagnetic shield. We know it's been going down at least 40% now. Now we also have what's called the South Atlantic Anomaly. Other sources, including Stan Dale, a physicist, so in the Earth, we have the U.S., we have South America. The South Atlantic Anomaly brings the electromagnetic shield around the Earth. Reportedly, it was 120 feet above the Earth, but my research is that's an old report. I believe it's much lower. Standeo brought this out. It had spread. It used to be over South America. Now it's over Europe. It's down. The electromagnetic shield is down over South America, Europe, also Africa, right in this area, and moving over to the U.S. So what that means is anytime we're hearing about flares from the sun, we can expect to have the radiation reaching the Earth in 8 minutes. And typically when we talk about radiation for the sun, we're talking about A and B. C, which Stuart Best, and my research also corroborates that, is now down to ground level. That means we are experiencing a dramatic increase in radiation. That also goes along with the word I received from the Lord like a year ago, radiation sickness. Radiation sickness is like the flu and typically, treated symptomatically, but it would be good to, increase protection from the sun, sunscreen, hats, and so on. So yeah, that is going on. We're just not hearing it much from mainstream media. No, the deep state. They want us to keep on working, keep on paying taxes. Okay, now we're going to talk about Michigan. And Michigan's Governor, Gretchen Whitmire, I'll write her name for you. She's a prospect if JB and KH have to drop out of the Democratic presidential race. Whoa! A candidate for the Dems is Gretchen Whitmire. Gretchen, doesn't that remind you of the story Hansel and Gretel? Yeah. And also another character from the Wizard of Oz, that lady that was riding the bicycle. Yeah. Gretchen Whitmire, Democrat, Michigan. Bird flu. Oh, I, as the dictator of the state of Michigan, I've got to shut down and curtail dairy and chicken farms. Now, I guess she can't get enough support inside her state just to go in and kill all the dairy cows and chickens. No, I would imagine these farmers donate money to the various political parties. So, what she's doing, okay, I believe there's bird flu in Michigan, and I'm going to put forth these rules for dairy and chicken farms. And no matter how many cases we have, these rules last for 90 days after I say, Gretchen Whitmire, I say there's no more reports of cases. And so what the dairy and chicken farmers have to do, they have to build a perimeter around their farms. They have to keep a log of everyone who comes on their farm and leaves every day. They have to isolate the animals from people. I guess we would wonder, what about the farm hands that live there? Okay, yeah. And you have to keep the log, build a fence, isolate the animals. And this is going to end 90 days after the last bird flu case is reported. But that's after I, Gretchen Whitmire, a candidate for a certain term being applied to me that begins with a W. After I, Gretchen Whitmire, I say it's all over. Yeah, and the Dems want to put her in as president. Okay, we have this going on now in the trials for President Trump. And so we've got them going on. We have them in Florida. We've got them in New York. We've got them in Georgia. Georgia's down here, yeah. I think 2 in New York. Okay. Now, in Georgia, we've been hearing about the Peyton Place-like drama going on before Fani Willis, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia. charging President Trump with election fraud. You know, the Dems like to project on their opponents what they themselves are doing. And her torrid affair with Nathan Wade. Well, everything is falling apart because Nathan Wade testified under oath that he and FANI did not have a relationship during their working time, but then he was recently on TV and he refuted that. So, which is it? And now we even have a mainstream media station, Fox, coming out and saying there is, obviously in Georgia and New York, obvious political corruption going on with the courts who are not, operating under the Constitution or any form of law. Now we have this in New York. This is Judge Merchan. We understand he's on George Soros' payroll. We have DA Alvin Bragg. Now, they're currently doing the hush money trial or fake trial. Okay, but they recently added someone new to their a lawyer group under Alvin Bragg. His name is Matthew Colanger. So Matthew Colanger. And what's his background? He is a consultant to the Democratic Party, and he had been working directly under JB's cabinet on the DOJ. Now he's working with Alvin Bragg, consulting Alvin Bragg too against President Trump. You can't make this stuff up. It's like, I hope, well, we had that recent information come out from Martin Armstrong, an internationally recognized economist, based on his predictive Socrates software, that 93% of the American people do not believe and have no faith in the U.S. federal government. Now, I submit that same percentage would apply to the state fake trials going on. Oh, and did you hear in Arizona, the DEM government in Arizona, they tried to bring criminal charges against U.S. federal government, House of Representatives and senators from their state. But, oh, hey, we didn't know that the Constitution stopped us from doing that. And what was the charge? Election questioning for the November 2020 presidential election. Yeah, if you bring any questions up, hey, we're going to hit you with made up criminal charges. Arizona, we're operating like these other states. Throw out the Constitution, all forms of law, federal, state, and local. We make stuff up, and then we say you're guilty. We can look forward, I believe, to a righting of the ship. We want to describe America as a ship that's really listing, but is in the process of being uprighted through the blessings of God. I believe he is working through President Trump, and the dramatic uniting and awakening of the American people. And now a short prayer. I'll use the modified version of General Patton's World War II prayer, because, baby, we are in a battle. And we ask, Father, grant us fair weather for battle. Guide us from victory to victory and crush our enemies, domestic, foreign, and off-world. And we thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there, continue to pray. God is in charge and He is on the move. I love you and I'll see you soon.